afternoon, I'm so thankful. I'm overwhelmed by this honor of being inducted into the Missouri Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. I got to thank Coach Nick Cameron and Savannah for nominating me. I got to thank the board for approving it. And overwhelmed really doesn't describe how grateful I am to be here. Now, I'm a little bit worried too, that the Senate right now is not acting on President Obama's nomination of Merrick Garland. I hope like heck they don't investigate this process. But if they do, I don't care because I'm in and nobody's getting me out. Honored to be in this 12-member group today is in the Hall of Fame. Now, the first person I got to thank is my wife Cindy of over 43 years. Well, she's a great coach's wife. Now you got to understand, not all women are destined to be a good coach's wife. I've seen a lot that weren't. But she's a great coach's wife. Here's the thing about great coach's wives is they're always there supporting you. But you forget they're supporting you there in the background. But on your highest high, they're behind you, but they're above you. They're relishing your success and your high because they know how much it means to you. But hey, they're not there at all to be seen. But conversely speaking, on your lowest low, they're there too. But they're below you. They hurt more than you, but they don't tell you. So it's important to have a great coach right now. Which leads me to the point is, it's important that I'm in her Hall of Fame. Now, I never would feel so strongly about that had I not, as growing up as a kid on a farm in Wathena, Kansas, the oldest of 8, I wanted to be in my mom and dad's Hall of Fame. I wanted to please Louie and Mary Vertin. I wanted to be the best I could be, not so much for me, but I doggone sure wanted to be for them. I wanted to be in my 7 younger brothers and sisters Hall of Fame. That was important to me. Now, unfortunately, over the years, I kicked myself out of a couple of those people's Hall of Fame. Now, but I think today, this afternoon, I'm back in. That's important. Then you have 2 sons come along. You want to be in their Hall of Fame. Then they get married. And you hope that you maybe get a smidgen of being in their wives' Hall of Fame. But it's darn well important. Those 9 grandkids that Cindy and I have, I'll make sure that I'm in their Hall of Fame. So let's understand that. Now, here's the deal. Every one of the inductees here today, we all have something in common. Past inductees probably have the same thing in common. And that's 5 stages coaching. Don Meyer. Google it. CoachMeyer.com. Great stuff. And 5 stages of coaching epitomizes, outlines where we've been. Now, coaching is tough business, but you know what I was thinking? I think probably running a resort business branch is tough. I think farm, running this Hall of Fame is tough business. And I go on, running a car dealership, running a restaurant, everything's tough business. So, we must understand that from the get-go. It's tough business. But the great thing about our business and profession, ladies and gentlemen, is Al McGuire's line. Winning's the greatest emotion, losing's the second greatest emotion. On with the 5 stages. First stage, survival. You're out there, you got a job, you don't even know what you don't know. You don't even know what you don't know. You're trying to win a game. You're trying to survive. Trying to win a couple games. Second stage. Now we're the deal that, you won a few games, okay? And now they notice you. They're saying, I think that guy or that gal can coach. Now we get to the third stage. The problem is, those first 2 stages, we need to be reminded of Don James, Gary Pinkel's mentor at Washington University, said one time after success in the Pac-10 and Rose Bowl, you stay and you're moving on. So I'm staying. Because anytime you go, turn a program around, it takes 3 to 5 tough years of your life. So I don't care taking a new job, starting a new business, taking over a basketball program, it takes 3 to 5 tough years of life. Don Hogue, my friend in Falls City. V took me 7. So now, we're sitting there, and you get to the satisfaction stage. Time to set a new goal. You've won a conference. People know you. Okay? That type of thing. And in my lifeline, unbelievable, I go through the first stages until I hit my 2 mentors. I owe my coaching life to 2 people. Dick Anderson and Jim Keller came, my high school coach. Dick Anderson, 37 years ago, I go to work for him. Okay? Now, what I learned from Dick, I learned a lot of things. I learned dedication, time commitment, preparation, organization. And then you saw, and you came along, you got to be the defensive coordinator on a state championship football team. And the same year, as an assistant girls basketball coach, won a state championship. So you get there. So it's important that you do that. Now, I learned championship success. Now, unbelievable, usually when you say mentors, my second mentor, and it wasn't sequential, it was simultaneous, because as I'm working with Dick, I get to observe Coach K. About 20 years ago, he said to me, I won 7 state championships, Steve, in 4 different sports. I'm supposed to win 1. I don't even know which one that was when I look back. But I do know this. Coach Kane taught me how to compete. Coach Kane says, worst thing they're going to do over at Gretna tomorrow night, Steve, is let us in that gym of theirs, because they're going to have problems. The worst thing that bunch from Elkhorn High is going to do is get on our field tomorrow night in that semifinal playoff game. And you know what? Kind of easy to pass those lessons along to my team. Just got to memorize those 2 lines, and they're fired up and ready to go. So understand competition. Thinking this morning when I'm finalizing these thoughts, Tom Petty, and I'm not a music whiz, Tom Petty is with the Heartbreakers song, I Won't Back Down. Coach Kane's teams never backed down. And after I watched that, I learned the lesson that I got to make sure I got teams that don't back down. Now, unbelievably, mentors are there, and then you come across a couple of guys, Mike Trader, Larry Rebel, Jimmy Weeks. And, 1979, Dick, who's the best basketball coach in the state, Larry Rebel, didn't even pause. So you go to the first clinic, here's Larry Rebel. He's not out there telling everybody how good he is. He's in row 2, seat 4 with a clipboard, taking more notes than the first-year coaches. If you want to talk shooting to this retired basketball coach that simply works camps now, he will still take notes. Mike Trader came and go. Things, how he approached the fanaticism of his system and philosophy wasn't the same. Jim Weeks. I had to make a difference. So instead of getting up at 5 o'clock, I started getting up at 3. You watch him slap together a career at Beatrice High School for 100 games. Goes to his alma mater 4 years. Got fired in March. He's now at Auburn High School. If Jim Weeks and Auburn call up and want to get a game, you tell them your schedule's full. You don't reply. So, it's no accident that those 3 guys helped me slap together a clinic 5 years ago for a cause for our 3 grandsons of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I can't tell you how hideous the disease is. I can't tell you how grateful I am that clinic raised $13,000 for our 3 grandsons, Max, Ron, and Charlie. So understand that. So there, now 17 years ago, I landed at Bishop LeBlanc. Now, I'm armed with these experiences. I've been to stage 4 where, you've been there long enough. When they say your school, they say your name. Okay? That's the success. You know that you're making kids better people. Bernie Saghouse line. The only reason we got athletics activity is to make kids better people. Now, that having been said, you come down there and you're fortunate enough to come to a school. First of all, I got an athletic director and Greg Kastner, our baseball coach. More important than that, he's my freshman and JV basketball coach. So we put 12 cut in against a 2-3 zone this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, the freshmen get it. They're getting the same terminology, the same teaching mode. So that's why we were able to turn the program around. And then after he stepped down, I have Jay Wheeler and Weston Sanger come in. And the thing is that we've got a deal of that's how it happened. And you find out now you're down here. Now what do you got to do? Well, you got to beat Maryville Mike Kowitsky. You got to go play Nichols at Cameron. And boy, that Dan Kowitsky's a bunch of guard you. Boy, Nichols guards you. Boy, they run a lot of things that make it tough on your 1-3-1. And all this and that. That type of team that you win, you count that as 10 wins. When you lose, you don't count it at all. Now, that having been said, we understand that you get there. And now, in the 5th stage is you're juiced, Myers says, and you're out and that type of thing. Let's go back to the challenge that awaits us and lies in front of us today. Fellow inductees, everybody in here. And that is, we got to make kids better people. We got to make them responsible. practice schedule, having fun is doing hard things well. But the most important linchpin point in our challenge is Bruce Brown, who works for the NAIA, Character and Excellence Education. We've got to turn out products that, pure and simply, our kids must be coachable. What's been coachable? Having a teachable spirit. They learned how to take correction as a compliment, and that's it. Now, tough deal, because we live in a society of entitlement that's been fomented and fostered for about 40 years. Barry Switzer, the great coach of Oklahoma, said one time, too many people were born on third base, woke up and thought they had a triple. Now, you want to know something? We got players that way. We got students that way. We got people in our own building that way. But our challenge is to make them better people. Now, here's what you do. You got to be demanding. You got to push. And you got to do that. So that's the challenge. Now, thirdly, Tom Osborne, 85% of what we learn in the hallways around here, Kickapoo, Rolla, Cuba, Grundy County, LeBron, Maryville, Cameron, 85% of what's going on in those hallways out there is about learning facts and figures. Yet Tom Osborne says 90% of the people out in our work world get fired because of a bad attitude. Better figure that out. I teach attitude pretty good first hour world history, but I really teach attitude good at that basketball practice that day. So that's our challenge. Now, in addition to that, we got to understand how hard it is. That nothing's ever taught until it's learned, nothing's ever learned until it's taught, Kelvin Sampson said. Both sides of that tautology is on us. Urgency, I'll close with this thought. The urgency we must bring to the table as we go back to our communities, fellow inductee and everybody else, in terms of spawning future Hall of Famers, in terms of producing coachable workers, dads, etc. The urgency, Dale Brown, Shaquille O'Neal's college coach at LSU. You know, somebody should have got up on the railroad tracks in 1930s and simply said, that's the last boxcar of Jews going to Dachau. That's the last boxcar of Jews going to Dachau's death camp. Unfortunately, folks, nobody did. That's why 6 million Jews got killed, because nobody got up on the railroad tracks. That's the urgency. That's the challenge. It's incumbent and imperative on our part as we go back to our communities, our homes, our families, our cities, to make sure we do our part in facilitating that culture that makes kids better people. I thank you for your time, and good luck to all you good people out there. I can't thank you enough for this honor. I'm excited about it, and you know what? I'm going to stay excited.